This episode is brought to you by Ursa Minor Outfitters. Folks, I'm absolutely in love with my loon mug. It's handmade, it's an absolute piece of art. Whether it's at the office or at the house, people keep asking to check it out. If you're not a loon fan, they also have other beautiful mugs for wildlife fans of moose, bears, and eagles. They specialize in products highlighting the outdoors and local pride through quality design by local artists. They've even started expanding into items beyond mugs, like apparel, dog accessories, and soon candles and more. They also try to partner and highlight other small businesses, and in some cases, forego profits in lieu of charitable giving to help their community, such as the dog rescue. So check them out, ursaminorouttfitters.com, and enter promo code HikesMikes10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. And for our four-legged hiking partners, they also have a portable silicone dog bowl and also a sweet over-the-collar dog bandana. Go check them out, ursaminorouttfitters.com, and don't forget to enter promo code HikesMikes10 at checkout to receive 10% off your order. Welcome everyone to the Hikes and Mikes podcast. I'm your host Ivan, and together we'll embark on a weekly journey connecting with extraordinary hikers from all corners of the U.S. and beyond. Throughout these summer months, we've had the privilege of conversing with some remarkable individuals. Their experiences and adventures will leave you yearning to hit the trails. We have a really special episode today, recorded just outside Mount Rainier National Park in the beautiful town of Ashford, Washington. My amazing friend from Oahu, MG Greenway, makes their first trip out to the Pacific Northwest. And in this episode, MG shares some of the great island hikes we've conquered together, including those with our amazing French interns. We also learn about MG's earlier hiking adventures, including hiking Half Dome in Yosemite. And MG shares about visiting 2 roaring waterfalls in and around Mount Rainier National Park. Without further ado, let's jump into this episode with our special guest, MG Greenway. Welcome everyone to the latest episode of the Hikes and Mikes podcast. I have a really special episode today. I'm going to be speaking with somebody really important to me. They are from the island of Oahu, and they're going to be sharing some stories that involve our hiking adventures and some of their more recent ones. MG, thank you for joining us on the podcast. For guests that haven't had a chance to follow you on social media or online, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is MG Greenway. My pronouns are they, them. My star sign is Virgo, Capricorn moon, Virgo rising, Earth sign in the house. I'm 30-something, and for a living, I'm a carpenter.
And for your hiking adventures, how did you get started hiking, and how long would you say you've been doing it now?
I feel like that's an interesting question because my hiking prior to moving to Hawaii was very sporadic and kind of grand adventure-esque. So for instance, I didn't grow up hiking or anything like that, but I traveled to California in 2010 and just randomly hiked Half Dome. So I would do kind of crazy, over the top things like that. But it wasn't hiking was a passion or a pastime at all. Some other cool ones that I did was Grandfather Mountain, which is super sick. It's in, I think, North Carolina, but there's a lot of ladders and just
Really?
Yeah, you're kind of over open air at certain points, which is super scary. I'd do those epic things, but hiking wasn't an everyday thing that I did. I feel like after moving to Hawaii, it really became something that I did a lot. Every weekend, during COVID, every day. I would say that I'm not super into it at the moment, but it's been a big part of my life in Hawaii in general.
For me too, moving there, it was one of the easiest and cheapest activities to be able to do and really see the island. If you had a vehicle and were able to travel, you could see a lot of the island on some of those hikes.
Well, I feel like you were a major kind of part of bringing hiking into my daily life, to be honest, because it was something that you were doing and we became you were one of my first friends on Oahu. And It's obviously like a lot easier, I guess, to do something if you have a buddy who's doing it also. And like we bonded over that, I feel like. And that was really, fun and special.
Originally, it was me, you, and Stinny who've had on the podcast going out there mostly on our Mondays because we worked a Tuesday through Saturday schedule. But then we had the French interns that we would always take. And we'll get into more of those stories with our French interns. Going back to Half Dome. When you did it, did you have to get a permit? Like, was there a lottery system or?
I don't know because I was kind of just tagging along with a group. I want to say that we did have to get a permit, but I wasn't like in charge of doing that. Someone else did it and they were like, do you want to come? And I was like, yes. I showed up.
And how was the hike? Because I hear that it's pretty grueling if you're not backpacking and splitting up the mileage.
Yeah, it was a really long day. I want to say we started at like 4 or 5 a.m. The most difficult part for me, honestly, was the very beginning. I think you start on a section that's called like the Misty something. And it was just lots of switchbacks. It was early in the morning. You're like not super warmed up. After that section, it was pretty gradual and kind of easy until you get to Half Dome.
Yeah.
And then it gets really scary again. Mostly because, to get up there, there's basically the one lane that's kind of cabled off, I guess. There's like a railing, but it's just cables.
Yeah.
And there's so many people going up and coming down at the same time. And that's what makes it feel unsafe. Like if you were moving the whole time, you would feel maybe more secure, but like you're having to stop all the time and just like stand there with like just sheer drop-offs. It was wild.
It's definitely gotten on my bucket list. And one thing that I saw interestingly on YouTube was this guy and his girlfriend went early season. So before it was technically open, like the cables were still on Half Dome, but they didn't have the post set up. But because it was early season, most of the snow on the trail was gone. They just hadn't opened it up yet. But he had climbing gear, and I think he just did it with a carabiner and rope along with the harness, and then just clipped in and did it. And other people were doing it as well. There might have been 10 people there instead of like the lines that you have now. Yeah, it's one of those things I think every year I'm going to put in for a permit and just hope one day it hits. Now, I feel like Hawaii is very special when it comes to hiking in the sense that it's very unique in not just its landscape, but like what you pack, what you use, what you wear. How would you describe the hiking scene in and around Oahu?
Well, I feel like this question is leading me to say that it's kind of minimalist in the sense that you can go do a pretty intense, like 6 or 7 mile hike just in the morning and then be back at your house by the afternoon. So you don't need much at all. And you kind of don't want much because of the terrain. I would say mainland hiking to me seems much more gradual. The elevation is over a longer mileage.
Yep.
Whereas on Oahu, it's all of a sudden a huge mountain.
Yeah.
And you're going really high, really fast. So it's a lot of ropes, a lot of scrambling in a short mileage. So you don't want things.
Yeah.
Like you want to be kind of free about it.
Yeah.
And there's even hikes that like you just trail run it. You might not even take water, honestly. Like Ia Loop, for instance. I would just run that. So I really do feel like in that way, it's kind of minimalist in terms of gear.
I don't think I ever saw anybody with trekking poles.
No.
On any of the trails.
I maybe saw somebody like once with chains on their shoes.
Yeah.
But like, that's it.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's the only place that I've hiked in flip-flops.
Oh, yeah. Actually, when we did 3 Peaks together, I think we ran into a guy who
was doing it in flip-flops. That's right.
Yeah, and he said that he had done it like 45 times or something like that, all in slippers.
Yeah, wild. Only in Hawaii. And I mean, definitely the Lanikai pillboxes, I did it in slippers just because if you're going to the beach, like you don't want to take shoes. You just park your car, go up to the pillboxes, and then go down to the beach.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a funny story that I was thinking about when you asked me to come on that it just like came into my head. Like it kind of speaks to like what is the culture of hiking there. There was a hike that I did one time and a friend and I were doing the hike. We ran into just these random people doing the hike, right? And after the hike, we were, got lunch and then we were like, what do we want to do? Okay, let's go to the beach and chill.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's also a thing that's like super unique. It's like you can do a pretty wild hike and then just like go to the beach
Yep.
for the afternoon. And so we set up on the beach, we're just chilling. And we look over, and it is the same people that went on the hike
No
that we
way.
passed that set up
Right
to
next to you
beach
guys?
next to us. And we were just like, what are the chances
Yeah.
that we would do the same hike, come to the same beach, all in a day?
Mm-hmm.
And like that was just a wild experience that is really, I don't think you can do that
No.
other places.
Because there's moments in hikes where I would wear board shorts on the hike that then I could just jump into the ocean. There's no way I'm jumping into like bodies of water and then trying to hike out here.
Absolutely.
Like I got to switch out. Now that you've been on the island for almost a decade, what have been some of your more favorite hikes that you tend to do on island?
I wouldn't necessarily say that my most favorite are the ones that I do most often. To be honest. Some of my most favorite, Kaala.
Highest point?
Yeah, highest point on Oahu. That one is grueling, but it's really cool at the top. There's the plateau. And there's ancient forest up there. That's like protected. Yeah, and it's all like ancient Hawaiian forest grove up there. It's really spooky actually. Those trees have like a very creepy quality to them. So that's one of my favorites for that reason, and also just for the sheer like cardio situation.
Yeah.
Actually, the first time that I did it, there's a paved road before you get to like the actual trail. By the time I was there, I was like, I have to stop because I might throw up.
Oh man, just to get to the trailhead.
Yeah, it's so intense.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like where there should be switchbacks. No.
Yeah.
You're just slogging up.
Oh man. And that's on the west side, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It goes out of Waianae. I don't know. What are some other favorites of mine? I feel like the ones that I do most often are probably in like the Honolulu watershed.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be like Makiki Valley, Kalawahine, basically anything in the Tantalus area.
Okay.
And that's just because it's so accessible. It's literally like 10 minutes out of your door and you can do a couple hour hike.
And what I love about those hikes is like you only got to hike in 10, 15 minutes and you completely forget that there's a million people to the back of you in Honolulu. Like you definitely get into the forest and have like really no additional auxiliary coming other than nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why, but when you were talking just then, the Ka'au crater like just popped into my brain.
Another good
Something
one.
about like viewing that crater feels so otherworldly.
And then the fact that you got to go through 3 waterfalls just to reach it.
Sick.
Yeah, I feel like everybody knows of Cocoa Head, Diamond Head, and then what's the third one with the National Cemetery?
I don't know.
I forgot what it's called, but it's inside the cradle.
Like off Nu'uanu?
I think so.
Punch Bowl.
What was it, Punch Bowl?
Punch Bowl is off to the side, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it.
But then I think a lot of people don't realize that Ka'au craters is just equally as beautiful to see like the actual crater itself.
It's insane.
Yeah. What about going to the east side? Because you got the ridge hike. You got...
What have I even done east side? K1, K2. I would call that east side.
Yeah. K1, K2. I mean,
anything Ko'olau technically is east side.
Yeah. Makapu, Cocoa Head.
Oh, I love
What
Crouching Lion.
Ooh.
What do you call that, North Shore?
No, I would call that's knocking on North Shore's door.
Then if it's not North Shore, it's east side.
Windward. I would call it more windward.
That's the same.
True. So let's say anything east of the H3.
Whoa. I feel like I haven't done a ton.
What about the 3 ridge hikes? There's Kuli'o.
3 peaks.
Oh, there's 3 peaks as well.
Kuli'o.
There's
Hawaii Loa.
And then
Love.
Willy Willy Nui.
I feel like we were going to do that one together and we never did.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, I've done Kuli'o a lot and I do really love that one.
Same.
Honestly, that one might have been like my first love because I do remember there was a period of time where like I would do that one just for exercise. Yeah. So I'd kind of like time trial it. Yeah, that was a really, really special one. I took my mom there and she was like, I'm never hiking with you again.
Oh, that's funny. Now I would say probably that's the easiest one out of the three, right?
I know.
At least you get the switchbacks.
I was like, okay, I need to pick not those anymore.
Yeah, I would say out of those three, that was my favorite just because the change of scenery.
Yeah.
You went from
Yeah.
dry to that weird pine forest.
Yeah.
And then up top,
Stairs.
yeah, the
Stairs and ridge.
And I feel like Hawaii, especially Oahu now, a lot of the hikes that we did when I was living there are officially getting labeled as illegal.
Yes, that's true.
You know, as the time of this recording, Stairway to Heaven is gotten partially dismantled.
Yes.
And you even told me something crazy that you saw pieces of the stairs already showing up on eBay for people to buy, which is just wild. Out of all the ones that have now been labeled illegal, which have been some of your more memorable ones?
Three Peaks has got to be illegal.
I think maybe an access point, but I think it's still open. Could be wrong though.
Then I guess Kalihi Ice Ponds.
Oh, that was
super illegal. It's not a crazy hike, but the destination is insane. And it's on, I want to say, like Board of Water property. That one is really cool.
And there's no parking. I think that was the big thing is they don't want people parking in the community.
That's actually the hike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Parking your car and then getting to the to the gate.
Yeah, that was a good one. Because I think we went on a day that was super hot. And like you don't realize why they call it Kalihi Ice Ponds until you get into the water and you're like, where the heck am I? I like that one.
It's super cool too because do you remember there's the main pool at the bottom, right? Where you can like jump off and have fun.
Yeah.
But you can climb up and there's like a series of pools.
Yeah, that's right.
Like it's not just the one.
Yeah.
You can really go like back in there.
I remember seeing the little fishes swim in the stream and there were so many of them.
They were so cute.
Yeah. That was a good one. Now, I think Oahu is known a lot for the illegal hikes. And you mentioned this. There's a lot of trails that are really cardio intensive.
Yeah.
When you are looking for a cardio hike, what's your go-to?
Quick and easy near me, Makiki Valley. Okay. Going up, I don't know if it's left. I think going up left and coming down right.
It's harder.
Yeah.
Is that at the Hawaii Nature Center?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. With Secret Falls?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Secret Falls is up left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you took me there.
Is it still secret? I hear it's no longer a secret.
Anytime I've been there, there's nobody there.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite waterfall, just because, especially on a weekday, nobody's there.
Absolutely not.
Now, going back in time and our hikes, do you remember our first hike and then also our last hike together before I moved off island?
Yep.
And what those experiences were like? So
my first hike on island, period, was with you. And that was Lulumahu Falls.
Yep.
It was me, you, and Leilani, one of our French interns.
That's right.
Here start the stories. And that was a great hike. Honestly, I have not done it since. I kind of think about it a lot. So I feel like I really should make a point to like get back out there because it's been 8 years now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be worth doing. That's a super fun hike. I feel like it was a couple of miles.
Yeah. And especially back when they let you get onto the reservoir, maybe a mile and a half.
Yeah. Not super long or strenuous really.
No.
But it was so memorable because Leilani's shoes absolutely exploded.
That's right.
It was so muddy. And I want to say that she attempted to, basically the soles of her shoes came off. They got stuck in the mud. She kept walking. The soles stayed.
Yep.
And I want to say we only had like weird bungee cords.
That's right.
And she like tried to put the soles of her shoes back on with bungee cords, but like it wasn't really working.
No.
It was bad. Like she had no business being out there in those shoes. But I also remember that's one of the falls that you can swim in.
And you can get underneath it.
Yeah. So we like fully went swimming.
Yeah, I think that was always my go-to hike for new people on the island, just because I feel like when people think of Hawaii hiking, a lot of people gravitate towards like waterfalls. And there's Manoa Falls, which of course, it's world renowned. People go to it, but like it's packed. Where Lulumahu does get, its fair share of people, but at least when we were going there, I don't think I saw more than 8 people at a time at the falls.
Yeah, no, it's pretty untraveled.
Now, talking about the French interns, for our listeners that don't know, we used to get French interns at the place we worked at during a summer basis because they had to do basically real life internship abroad in an English speaking country. I believe.
Yes.
So naturally, we got a lot of people wanting to come to Hawaii for their internship. And it started with Leilani, and then it just continued growing. I think the next year we got Paul and Thibault. And then the last year we had 5?
Was it 5? Oreo, Marco,
Marius,
Laura. Who's the last one?
the blonde. What's his name?
Vincent.
That's right.
Wow.
I want to say every single one of those groups got into hiking while we were there.
True. I would also credit you with that.
And I think same thing, to get people involved and to see them in nature, especially coming to Oahu from France and seeing the sticker shock on a lot of the things. It was one of those things where even if they didn't have a vehicle, they could access the bus lines and be able to hike to a lot of these places.
True. Or, I mean, honestly, I just became best friends with them and then I would take them everywhere.
Yeah. No, they were amazing groups of individuals that came through there. So we had a fun experience with Leilani on Lulumahu.
Yes.
And we also had, not as funny, but we have another story with our second group of French interns, Thibault and Paul. Do you remember their last hike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were leaving soon, right?
Yeah, I think within a couple days.
Okay, and we decided to do the back side of Stairway to Heaven because obviously the front side, the actual stairs, is risky. You can get ticketed. It's one of the illegal hikes that you can actually get ticketed for, in my opinion. So we did backside, which is basically a 5-mile one way. So it was 10 miles.
Yeah.
And the first, I want to say 2 to 3 miles is kind of chill. In terms of Hawaii. And then you kind of get to the ridge hiking, which is a lot of ropes. It's a lot of deep ruts in mud. And we got there and it started raining.
Yeah.
The wind was kind of wild. I say raining, but it more felt like crazy mist. You're literally in a cloud.
Yeah. No, that's a good way of saying it. Yeah. Because it wasn't downpouring, but it was just
very
mist.
wet.
Yeah.
Very wet. Very windy, and we kept going. We got all the way to the top. And then on the way down, maybe 3 miles out, Thibault took a spill, twisted an ankle.
And I wasn't too sure. I was like, are we going to have to call to get him airlifted out?
Yeah.
Or at least get him down to the base of the ridge and have somebody, I think DNR could drive up there. One thing that I found, it's not funny at all, but I found so coincidental. And I don't know if it was the same foot, but when he first got to the island, before he even started his internship.
I was going to bring this up. Oh my gosh.
He got to the island, didn't start his internship, went out to a beach, and I don't know if it was the same foot, but stepped on a sea urchin.
Yes.
And messed up his foot felt like it was a couple weeks that he was limping along.
Well, I don't know that I ever told you this, but I went to Europe to see Paul, my friend from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Also to see Paul and Thibault from France. That was in maybe 2019, so at least a year and a half after they were there. He still has the spine of the sea urchin in his foot.
No way.
I'm serious.
And he went to urgent care though, didn't he?
I guess.
And they didn't pull it out?
No, it's still in there, as far as I know. It's just they've become one.
And I think after that, because you knew me as being a cautious hiker, especially there on the islands where, if there was any chance for rain, I wasn't going to do any of the scarier hikes. Just because it got too slippery and wet. And I wasn't going to do that hike because the forecast wasn't good, but because they were getting ready to leave. It was like, this is the best shot because I think the forecast was going to get worse from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
But after that experience on our next set of interns, I was like, I'm not going to take you guys up unless it's 100% sunny and cloud free. I felt like we had some, I wouldn't say hair-raising hiking experiences, but definitely stuff that got our hearts pumping, not because of the hike itself, but just like what we had to do. I feel like Three Peaks.
That was the one for me.
Yeah.
So scary.
Can you describe like that hike and that experience that day?
It's like we're calling it a hike, but like you're scrambling, you're climbing. It's not hiking.
No.
Like hiking is like walking up a mountain, not like scrambling or climbing or using ropes. Like,
Yeah.
And Three Peaks is very that. In fact, I even remember there was like a move that I couldn't make by myself, and I had you below me pushing me up.
That's right.
I couldn't have made it. Like I couldn't have made the move. So it's very rock climby and very cliff's edge, particularly on Three Peaks when I think it's between the second and third.
Oh yeah, you have that rock wall.
The keyhole.
Oh, the keyhole too, yeah.
Right around the keyhole is so scary because when you turn that corner is when the wind just hits.
Yep.
And you're on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, you might have the width of both your feet, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this, but somebody got rescued from that point as we were going from 2 to 3. We saw the helicopter
I don't remember
somebody.
that.
Yeah.
Why? I blocked it out. I was so scared.
And I mean, at least from my recollection, the view from the third peak wasn't any better than first or second.
It's all for glory.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a cool time to talk about, I don't know if you've talked about it before, the Hawaiian Islands and like how they age.
Oh, no.
But I mean, so basically the Big Island is the newest island, which also means it's the least eroded. But the oldest islands, such as Kauai, Oahu, are the most eroded. And it's continually happening. Constantly. But that is what has created the geography that we've talked about so far, which is like just crazy steep.
Oh, we had so many good ones. And our last hike together, like I think it was a few days before I moved off island, was a special one. It was another one that I think had recently been deemed illegal.
Yes.
At least from our access point. And that was the Makapu Puka.
Yes.
And that was a really fun hike. I was telling you that there is a trail, but because you're like not necessarily scrambling, but you're going up and down these rocks and boulders. Like there's no defined trail to the puka, but I just remember seeing like white butterflies. And as soon as I spotted them, I was like, that's the direction we're
going that way.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the full story. We went up one access point, the technically illegal access point. And on our way down, we saw police down there.
That's right.
And that's why we had to follow the butterflies.
Yes.
Because we had to go out the long way that we hadn't come in. There's not a trail. You're just kind of bushwhacking.
Yeah.
Scrambling. That's why we went that way, was because we saw police down at where we had entered.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, because we didn't go down to the Makapu Lighthouse parking lot. We had to go basically the rest of that ridge all the way down to the highway.
Yeah. And then we hiked the highway back up to the car.
Oh, man. Yeah, I forgot all about that. And it was rough. There were sections where it was just like, because that's where it was starting to get dry.
Yeah.
And just brush and rocks. And
there's a lot of cacti up there.
There was cacti.
Oddly enough, so many cacti on Kaiwi Coast.
Now, one that I always ask people about, and you shared some really great news about it, Cocoa Head.
Yes.
I know people consider it a hike, but I feel like people that don't know what Cocoa Head is shouldn't view it as a hike, but look at it as an endurance cardio workout. But you said that recently, in the last couple of years, the Coconut Coalition has basically revamped it because it used to just be old railroad ties from like the 1940s that led you up this crater. But now it's like, would you say all not the rails, what's the word?
I'm not sure what that word would be.
Did all the
timbers.
Yeah. Did all the lumber get replaced?
Pretty much. Not only that. So don't quote me on the timeline, but I want to say this was around COVID times. The city was basically saying, we're not going to put money into this to make it safe. And if it doesn't become safe, we're going to shut it down, right? And so this coalition formed, the Cocoa Head Coalition or the Cocoa, I don't know. We call them the Coconuts.
Yep.
Okay. The Coconuts were like, no, we're not going to like lose this exercise equipment, because that's what it is. Like you said, it's not a hike. This is exercise equipment. And they pooled their resources and donated their time to basically make a lot of improvements to it. So what happened was they had all of this material delivered to the bottom. So like huge timbers. This would be like 6x6x8, like lumber, concrete, gravel, and they would just carry it up and make all the repairs that needed to be made. And you could just do it, like if you were doing the hike one day and you wanted to help out, you could just like pick up something heavy and carry it as far as you could and just like set it down and then like keep going.
Really a community effort then.
It really was. It's pretty cool. And actually, they're still doing stuff up there. So do you remember the last time I went, I saw a change because there used to be this metal grate at the top.
Oh, yeah.
They took that down completely and they've built a new platform. It's
That's right. I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's super solid. So I feel like they just keep doing improvements there, which is really cool to see everybody kind of rally around it. But yeah, it's definitely not a hike. It's more of a training ground.
Yeah. And then I think I saw it on Instagram, but they didn't necessarily make it taller, but they extended the rails. Like, because remember, you get to the top and you go around.
Okay, yes. Now you can, instead of going around to the right, which took you kind of up just mountain, now you keep going left and it takes you to this new platform that I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like they're still doing stuff.
And that's all a community effort. That's really great that the community rallied. And
I mean, I can't imagine not having that.
Yeah.
It's such a staple for, I feel like, any trail runner who, like a lot of trail runners train there.
Yep.
A lot of people just do that as a part of their maybe daily, but like weekly life, you know? Yeah.
Because I remember there was a point in time that I was doing it every Sunday. And you would build relationships with other people that would see you on that Sunday. And I just remember there was this one guy, I'm pretty sure it was military, but would wear at least a 50-pound vest and not do it once. Like I remember one time I asked him, like, what's the most you've done in a day? And he said 8.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe that, because that's 8,000 feet of elevation gain, which is just nuts.
I have a friend who does it yearly on their birthday and like has upped the number consistently.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What's the number up to now?
I don't know.
Something crazy?
I want to say it's in the like, it's got to be like 9, 10, 11, something like that.
Did you ever time yourself and see what was fastest?
Of course.
Do you remember what your fastest was?
Well, I feel like the first time that I did it was with you, and the goal was under 20.
Yep.
Which we did. Yep. I did. I don't know if you did.
I think I came right after 20.
So yeah, I feel like I've hit the under 20 consistently, but I can't shave much more off of that.
Yeah.
But I think Rosie, a coworker of ours, actually held the record for quite a while.
Oh, that's right.
Because she did 14 minutes up and down.
Yeah.
It's like 7 minutes up. That's unbelievable.
You're basically running up that thing.
Sprinting.
Because I think my record was 19 and change was the fastest I did. But going down, I remember I got comfortable enough. I could do it in like 13, 14 minutes down.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't even time myself going down. You know what I do going down?
What?
I tightrope the actual railroad part for as long as I can.
The metal part?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just play that game. I don't worry about time because it's easier on your knees.
Yeah.
It's too hard on your knees to to go down that quickly.
I don't know if I still have the video, but there's a video and a shot of me at the top of the stairs getting ready to go down, and a guy just books it down.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got maybe 20 steps down, he was already past the bridge. And
I thought you were going to say he was already coming back up again.
No. It was wild to see because I took a picture of him again, and it was just like he was right in front of me, like no more than 4 feet in front of me. And then in less than a few minutes, he was almost 3/4 of the way done.
That's wild behavior.
Yeah. I didn't feel comfortable running until after the bridge, and then out
Yes,
the rest of the
same.
way. Now, I think you have officially visited nearly all the inhabited islands outside of Nihio, but you did something really special on Molokai, which I guess isn't even available to do anymore, but that was the donkey rides or mules?
Mule? What's the difference between a mule and a donkey?
I think
a mule is part donkey, part horse. It was a horse-like creature.
And did you ride them down to the beach, or did they pack? Okay.
We rode them.
And it took you down to...
For shame, I can't remember the name.
But gorgeous beaches on Molokai and cliff edges. Did you go down cliff edges?
Yeah, but it takes you down to, I'm forgetting the name, which literally is for shame, of basically the place where when leprosy broke out on the Hawaiian Islands,
the colony
took everyone and forced them to go to this very secluded, I don't even know what to call it. It's just, it's a flat bit of land that's surrounded on one side by sheer cliff and the other by ocean. So it's extremely isolated. Yeah, that was a wild experience. At the time that I went, I want to say there were maybe 8 people left at the colony.
Wow.
As part of the original thing. And basically, I think there's funding to kind of preserve that land as a historic landmark once everyone who was a part of that passes. But yeah, that was a wild experience. And actually, when I first moved to the islands, I read a historical fiction about the leprosy outbreak. And yeah, that was just a powerful thing because it really broke up a lot of families, basically. You know, if you were diagnosed with leprosy, you were essentially taken from your family and quarantined in this place and couldn't leave and had to live there the rest of your life. And yeah, there's still like a couple uncles and aunties living there.
Yeah, and I don't remember if it was pre-COVID or after COVID, but what I read was they didn't renew the contract with the packing company, the outfitters.
I see.
So then, because it was technically private land, maybe, they revoked access for hiking.
Wow.
And because there's no outfitter that will take you down there anymore, I think it's off access.
So you can't even get there?
I don't think so.
Wow. We really need, in the show notes, will you find the name?
Oh, for sure. And you've made it a couple times to Big Island, which is such a unique island because it has so many different landscapes. It has the mountains. It has snow. What's been your experiences on Big Island?
Well, I would say the first time I went to Big Island, I was shocked in not the best way. Like, I didn't like it, kind of. It's so remote and there's so much driving. Like, if you're really trying to explore, it's not like Oahu or Kauai where, like, you can just go 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like hours of driving to see something. So I didn't love that. I will say that there are some places on Big Island that are absolutely my favorite. Green Sand Beach in South Point, basically, is one of the coolest places I've ever been to, period. It's so cool. So basically, you can drive there, but you either have to like hike in 3 miles, or you can pay an uncle to like be in his van and they'll like take van loads of people, truckloads of people. And a lot of people will pay the uncles and aunties. They'll stay there for like 5-10 minutes and then they'll go back. I would spend all day. Okay, so what makes it a green sand beach is that I'm going to mess the scientific things up, but the caldera or the volcano, whatever exploded there, the rock that exploded had olivine in it, which is a green crystal. So that's why the sand is green. It's olivine crystals. And basically, if you were to like pick up a bit of sand and like kind of shake it out, like some of it's black, some of it's white, and then a bunch of it is this green crystals.
Wow.
It's so cool.
And I got to ask because, you have to either hike by it or go by it, but there's South Point, the cliff diving.
Yes.
Have you had a chance to cliff dive?
Of course.
It's not a easy cliff, too. It's like, what, 40 feet?
It was so scary. So actually, I went on Harrison Day. So I went to celebrate my brother's death, actually. And we went to South Point, and I was like, I'm going to jump. I'm going to do it for my brother. It's going to be great. We get there, and I look over the edge, and I'm like, oh no, it's so high and nobody's doing it. It's a super windy day. So I see some uncles fishing and I'm like, I go over and I ask them, I was like, is this where you jump? Like, tell me, like, don't let me mess this up, basically. Like, I need to know if I'm doing this right. And also, is it safe?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you can do it. So my partner jumped first and they resurfaced after jumping. And I'm like looking down at them and I'm like, babe, like I need some encouragement to jump in this water. And they're like not really giving it to me. And they're acting kind of out of character. And I'm like, that's weird, but okay. Like I just need to get over it. I just need to do it. I jump in and the free fall is so long that you can't hold your form, kind of like flailing.
Yeah.
And I didn't hit it at a pencil, Yeah. And it hurt so bad. And then like, as soon as I came up for air, like I looked at my partner and I was like, oh my gosh. And they were like, yeah, I might have broke my tailbone. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
It was wild.
Oh.
But yeah, it's pretty far. I don't know how many feet.
It's at least 40. I know that.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's 60.
Yeah?
I really wouldn't.
In that 50 to 60 range, yeah?
Whew. Yeah, that was hard.
Now, switching gears, we're recording this just outside of Mount Rainier National Park. Was this your first time to the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah. Well, okay. So I did a cycling tour that did go through Oregon, but it was Southwest Oregon. And then we dove south. So from Southwest Oregon, we went like through Northern California and ended in Santa Cruz. So I feel like I sort of went Pacific. I was going toward the Pacific Northwest and then like totally missed it. So yeah, this is my first time in Oregon or Washington.
Unfortunately, the mountain wasn't out today. We had an atmospheric river come through both at Washington and Oregon, but we were able to escape some of the rain and we hit up 2 waterfalls and the American River. How would you describe the waterfalls here that you saw today compared to the waterfalls you're used to on Oahu?
Well, these are way more powerful. And I mean, that could be due to timing. Obviously, it's June.
Still saw a bunch of snow up on the pass.
Right.
Feet of snow.
But all the snow is like melting very fast.
Yep.
So the waterfalls, I feel like, are at max capacity, kind of.
Oh, definitely.
Whereas in Hawaii, they're not like that. It's not that powerful.
Sometimes after rain, but they don't...
Even still, it's not.
Yeah, they don't last that long before it goes back to normal flow.
Yeah. This area, I will say, is very reminiscent. So obviously I did Yosemite and Half Dome. And I've also been to like Lake Tahoe. So like this area feels reminiscent of those areas to me.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Lots of really cold, really clear water.
Yep.
Lots of waterfalls that are very powerful. Because of snow and ice.
No, that's a good way of looking at it. Bunch of pine trees all over the place.
Yes.
I don't think either of the waterfalls today you could get under.
No.
But out of the 2, both were distinct. Union Creek Falls was the first one.
Okay.
And then Silver Falls was the last one in the national park. Which one was your favorite?
I want to jump in Silver Falls so hard.
From the bridge?
Yeah.
Yep.
from the bridge away from the waterfall.
Yeah.
Because toward the waterfall, when you look down, it's like super skinny.
Yeah.
And then like on the other side of the bridge, which is kind of wild because that's like not really any space at all.
No.
But the other way.
Yeah. I'm right there with you where I'll look off that bridge and be like, that's some of the clearest water I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the bottom, but know that it's like at least 20 to 30 feet deep.
Yeah, forever away.
Yeah. Now we're getting to the tail end of the podcast that we always like to ask these 3 questions to hikers. When it comes to your day hikes, is there a regular routine that you do, whether it's at the summit, at the end of the hike? For some, it's packing a favorite snack or meal. For others, it's a beverage, moment of zen, or even a good meal afterwards. Is there a regular customer routine that you like to do when you reach your destination or when you make it back out?
Okay, we kind of prepped this earlier, and I could not think of one. What I told you was it's just chaos. I don't I don't feel like I have like a set routine. I mean, there's a lot of times where I will come down from the mountain, especially if it's a local hike that I've done. So that would be like Honolulu Watershed. That would be like anything Hawaii Kai, Kulia'o, Ka'au even, where I would just like go get a smoothie at Leahi Health.
I like that.
I mean, I guess like if you want to consider this like a ritual, I don't know. But like the way that I kind of would structure my hiking is like start hike, reach summit, have your snack, return.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't stop to have a snack anywhere else.
Gotcha.
It would just be like, let's get to the top.
Have your snack.
Let's have a snack, sit down, chill, have a moment, and then head down.
Now, when it comes to your pack list, is there any luxury items that fall out of the essential list that you tend to carry on a frequent basis?
No. Water, EpiPen, Benadryl. But no, I don't luxuriate up there.
I mean, there's hikes where I think I would just carry a water bottle. I wouldn't even take a backpack.
There's hikes I don't even carry water.
Yeah?
IA Loop. I would just run it.
And have a water waiting at the car or something. Now we're basically in the middle of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
There's still the summer, fall, and winter to come.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any hiking or travel goals for the rest of the year?
I mean, being here was a major travel goal. I don't have hiking goals. Currently, it's not something that I'm doing a ton right now. I'm preoccupied with other hobbies. But I guess I would say after having this conversation, I do want to get back to Lulumahu Falls. Like I said, I've been thinking about it a lot. Every time I drive past it, it kind of like sticks in my head.
Yeah.
It's not just like something about it's nagging at me. So I feel like I want to go back there. And then, I don't know, my partner has family in Northern California and Utah. So we've been talking about some sort of like trip where we go see them, but also check out the area.
Okay. And 2 amazing places to explore, both in NorCal and Utah. Well, that was it for the regular questions, MG. The last bit of the podcast is a round of this or that questions.
The real hard hitter.
The real hard hitters. This is a section where I'm going to give you 2 hiking related topics and you just choose which one you prefer out of the 2. Or both if you can't decide.
Okay, easy.
But the first one is a steep incline or a steep decline?
Steep incline. Let's go.
This one's a tough one because Oahu's known for both of these, but waterfalls or summits?
Ooh, this one actually is hard. Summits. There's something about that being like, I've done it, I've conquered it, now I can go.
Now this one's another one that I think Oahu has a variety of, especially when it comes to the ridge hikes. But do you prefer switchbacks or just going straight up?
Okay, straight up. Maybe because like I have OCD tendencies. And for instance, Kealia Trail, I know that it's 19 switchbacks. And like I'm counting every single one and doing the mental math. I'd rather just go. Go for it. Ka'ala is very just go for it.
Okay.
You're like, there should be a switchback here.
Now, I think I know the answer to this one because, like we discussed, I haven't seen anybody really use them on the island. But trek poles are freehand?
Freehand. And I guess by freehand, I mean ropes.
Yeah.
I choose ropes.
And then this is a footwear-related question, but trail runners or hiking boots?
Trail runners, yeah. Open air, Just let it get wet, keep on moving.
And now this is a trail system question, but loop trail or an out and back trail?
Is that even, do some people even prefer out and back? Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah, so this season started off hot for the first time ever. I think my first 6 to 7 guests said out and back.
What?
Yeah, it was wild.
Why? I would never prefer that.
Yeah, I think a lot of them like knowing how far out they are from the trailhead, but then also they notice things that maybe they didn't notice on the way up, or different perspective.
Okay, I need a loop.
And when it comes to your watering can system, do you use a regular water bottle or a Camelback or hydration?
Camelback, faux show.
And then this is where it gets really hard. Sunset hikes or sunrise hikes?
Literally neither.
Neither?
Yeah,
Whoa.
what?
Yeah, would you want to do a sunset hike or a sunrise hike?
I mean, I guess I'd rather do sunset. I don't like waking up early.
And this one we're going to switch up because Hawaii doesn't have fall colors. When it comes to some of the flowers that are found on the trails, do you prefer the ginger flowers or the plumerias?
I prefer ginger. Should I go off about the Heliconaceae? I probably mispronounced it, but
Go for it.
that's the family, genus, species. Genus or family? I don't know. It's the family, I think, of flower that ginger falls into. And I find them to be incredible. They're kind of alien, that's why.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't look like a normal flower, and I dig that.
And then the last one is, do you prefer a long gradual hike or a short and steep hike?
I mean, clearly short and steep. Let's go.
Well, that was it for the This or That Questions, MG. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate you coming out to the Pacific Northwest, and looking forward to you hitting up Lulu Mahu again.
Yeah, and I want this record. Love you.
Love you too. And that brings us to the end of this episode alongside MG. We extend a heartfelt thanks to them for coming on the podcast. Don't forget to check out the episode show notes for more. We have an incredible lineup of episodes planned throughout the summer months, and we can't wait to share them with you. New episodes will be dropping every Monday with occasional bonus episodes on Fridays. To ensure you never miss out on those thrilling tales, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to join our vibrant community on Instagram at Hikes and Mikes. We'll be sharing episode visuals, my own personal hiking content, and so much more. Let's stay connected and continue to inspire each other on this remarkable journey. As we bid farewell, remember to tread those happy trails, embrace the great outdoors, and keep the spirit of adventure alive. Until next time, my fellow explorers, happy hiking. This episode's music was created by Ketsa. Follow him on Instagram at Ketsa Music. Hey everyone, hope you've all been enjoying the trails this summer. I gotta be honest, leading group hikes is a blast, but capturing all the amazing memories can be a challenge. That's where our new podcast sponsor, the Cameo Journal, comes in. This thing's built for travelers and hikers by fellow adventurers. It's a pocket-sized rugged journal designed for you to collect up to 100 entries from all your trailmates, your life guests, and anyone else you meet along the way. Basically, it can be a guest book for your travels and an awesome keepsake. Logan over at the Cameo Journal is a backpacker himself and put all his love for travel into the design. So if you're looking to level up your hiking adventures, head over to thecameojournal.com to grab one not just for yourself, but for your crew too.